What is the video formula we've developed that's behind millions in sales for some of the biggest brands in the world, Dan?
Thank you for teeing me up so nicely, Lloyd. I'm actually really excited for this episode. We're always looking to try and improve what we're doing with the podcast and the information we're sharing. And over the last few years, we've learned lots about what works with short form video. And I want to share some of the things that we haven't actually spoken much about in the pod. You know, so there's some topics that we kind of go over multiple times. There's some really good nuggets in this episode that are going to teach people like the tricks of the trade, I guess, and the secrets that we use to get top performing video content and generate millions in trackable sales for our customers.
Would you say we are revealing all?
We're revealing all. Yeah. There's some bits here that are going to really make you go, we should try that. Okay. That's the reaction I'm going for.
So anchors that are listening, try and listen to yourself, see when you're going to make those noises, and then be like, Dan was right. When you go,
Exactly. I want to hear those noises.
Okay. All right. Let's get straight into it. We're not going to waste your time, anchors. Let's dive in. Where should we start, Dan?
It's all about upping your hook game. Now, everyone who talks about video marketing, and especially on TikTok, talks about you need a good hook for your videos. Everyone knows that. But there's some very specific ways you can create incredible hooks that work really well and hook the viewer in and get them to watch all of your video to up retention.
And why do we want to up retention?
Because the longer people are watching your videos, the more you're going to be in front of your customers, the more they're going to be convinced to do whatever you're trying to convince them to do.
And the algorithm's going to like it.
The algorithm's going to like it.
Show it to even more people. Okay. Nice.
And the way you do that, one of the best ways to up your hook game is to have a curiosity gap. Okay?
Okay.
Do you want to know what a curiosity gap is?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah. So a curiosity gap is where you start the video with something interesting that's like the end point of a story, and then you double back to the start of the story to give context as to how you got to that end point. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're creating a new case study video talking about how you've worked with one of your customers and what you've done for them. Start the video with the amazing end result. So for example, we've recently produced a number of new case study videos. One of them was a case study talking about how we helped a customer generate £1 million B2B contract. So we started the case study with, we generated £1 million B2B contract for this customer. And here's how we did it. And then we double backed to tell the story of, from start to end, that journey of them coming to us and what we did for them. And
I think this is a good thing for people to understand, because you get very different results usually. Most people creating video content starting out would just think, okay, I've got this story to tell, or this is what I'm communicating. And they start and go, okay, so today I'm talking about, and just go into the start of the story. And the reality is you will lose nearly all of the viewers in that first part. And I think we've been doing this thing of like putting the most interesting thing at the start. If you think like TV and film, like you get trailers that you show people and go, basically you show them all the good bits in a trailer for a film, enough for them to go, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to go to the cinema and I'm going to see that. And in a very small way, you're doing the same thing. So you're showing them the most interesting bit, just giving them a flash of it, getting them excited, and then they're going to go, okay, I'm going to watch the rest of this.
We literally do this. Again, I know you hate when I say this. This is very meta, but we do this on this podcast. The title of our podcast episodes give the output that people are expecting to get from the podcast. And even in the first sentence, we always ask the leading question, like this one of, what's the video formula we developed that help generate millions for brands?
Usually in the intro, we have clips of us saying things throughout that might be some of the more interesting parts, or create intrigue or that curiosity gap. Yeah.
And again, like to reinforce this, make sure you're telling good stories. Like this is the whole thing of leaving this curiosity gap. Have a story. Like when we produced those case study videos, we told it in the format of a story rather than just, we did this, then we did that.
Go on.
What?
Tell a story.
I'm not going to tell a story. There's lots of stories throughout this episode.
No, that's what we need then. So you just got to...
One day... No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
So start leaving more curiosity gaps with your hooks. That's one of the ways you can improve your hooks.
Really good tip.
Another way, just second way, before we move on to the next one, is having more visual hooks. So lots of people, especially you see these videos on TikTok that are like, here are the 10 best hooks that you can say at the start of your video.
Yeah.
But one of the things that people miss out on is you don't just need like a spoken hook, having a visual hook is one of the first things people see. So like there's a number of ways that we've done this before. One thing, we've recently done a kind of secret campaign with an iconic brand from the 90s where we work with celebs that we can't talk about in detail yet. But one of the things we've done in that content is have those celebs at the start of the video doing something really interesting that hooks people in and makes them think, why is that celeb doing that? Dressed like that.
It's intriguing, and I think so a lot of people that talk about hooks talk about how to capture attention, but I think taking it to the next level and really getting the maximizing results you can get from video marketing on social is capturing the attention and stopping the scroll, as people say, but also doing enough to make people think, I actually want to keep watching and find out where this is going. Because anyone, like, you can do weird stuff to capture attention. You can just shout swear words or like weird racist things. Like, that's anyone can capture attention if they really want to. But if you can capture attention and do something where you can make people think, oh, I actually want to see where this is going. Like, I wonder what, oh, he said that. I wonder what that is. Or that's weird. I've seen that celeb in that place. What the hell are they doing there? And making them want to continue watching. That takes it to the next level.
You need to also deliver on the hook.
Yeah.
Like, again, like I've seen people try and cut corners and just say a really good hook, but then you're hooked in and you're like, oh, I want to know what happens there. Then you watch the rest of the video and it doesn't deliver on what they said at the start.
You might get 100,000 views on a video where at the start you're saying, here's how to make £1 million today. I've got this hack, because it will capture people's attention and they'll watch some of the video. But you'll never get those views again because the algorithms will know, oh, everyone dropped off halfway through because obviously they haven't actually revealed what they said they were, and it's a bad video. There's
lots of ways that you can do visual hooks. So we've done things like set off confetti cannons in one of the video projects we did for a company called Connected. We also pretended we were going to blow up a shed in the campaign we did for Buy Whole Foods Online a while ago. So it's really about trying to think, what's different that you can do that visually is going to get people.
It's visually interesting as well as that hook of what you're saying or text that's on screen, making it stand out from the rest of the stuff online, which is getting harder and harder because obviously more and more people are thinking, right, what's the hook going to be? Got to make it different. And if everyone's different, everyone's the same. Oh, that sounds like a really
hooky.
If everything's different, everything's the same.
That should be on an Instagram quote with you kind of looking.
I'll get that on a tattoo.
So that's it. Number one is up your hook game. Where do we go from here, Lloyd? What else can anchors do with their video content?
I think, and bear with me on this one, you've got to hope that you've got it completely wrong right now. And I know that sounds weird, but often in marketing, we have this thing of like, no, I know my product, I know my service. I know that people love this new feature. So that's what we've got to communicate in our video content. They love this new feature. They love that it does this. We've got to communicate that. That's what sells it. Or, our customers love that we're endorsed by this random famous person. Tiger Woods says it's good and they love that. And the reality is, I think you need to set up your video marketing and set up your marketing campaigns in a way to test those theories, but also continuously test new theories. So say you believe that the best thing that sells your product is this new feature that these golf balls have got, that they make your golf shots straighter, and that Tiger Woods has endorsed it. They're your biggest selling points. If you're creating 10 videos, you don't want to create 10 that say that, because there's not going to be any improvement. You're just going to stay exactly where you are. Maybe you create 6 that are those that messaging that is normally strong, but then you want to create 4 more videos around completely different messaging and continually test what works best and keep improving. I think this is the difference we've seen with campaigns that kind of do okay and do amazingly. If you allow yourself to find improvements and new things that are going to allow you to smash it and sell more or achieve what you want to do, it's a huge opportunity. And you think it's a bigger opportunity for the whole business. So if you've got a bigger business, it's not just say, oh, it's an opportunity to sell another 10% on top of what we were aiming for, but it's an opportunity to learn, oh wow, when we talk about the how long this product lasts, in these videos using this messaging, we're selling 40% more. It's like, then you can go to all the other departments within the business and be like, we need to restructure lots of our marketing campaigns. We need to restructure what's on our packaging when this is in stores, because we found out that this is really important to customers now. And that may be because things have changed in the market, things have changed with the product, things have changed in people's lives, but it allows you to add a huge amount of value even outside of that marketing campaign to the wider business if you can test those theories and learn those new things.
I think that's one of the biggest mistakes us marketers and business owners make is we trick ourselves into thinking we know what the right messaging is, or we know what the right hook is or the right creative, but we don't.
Yeah.
We don't until you create enough variety of content to split test and try different things. Yeah. And I think if anyone's listening to this thinking, yeah, we're considering investing in producing a video or video content, don't just put all your money in one video that you think is going to absolutely smash it. I'd say try and test a variety of different styles of content and messaging and hooks and visual elements and structure of the videos to see what works. So the data can inform your decisions rather than your gut feel like, oh yeah, I think that'll help.
Variety in video content has been a big reason why a lot of our most successful campaigns have been successful. We've spoken a lot about the £1 million contract we got for one of our clients, and that was the client wanted to go in a certain way of educational content. We believed from our research that some entertaining content could and more emotional triggering content could be a good way to go. They'd never done that, but we tested both of those. We actually split the budget 50-50 on that educational informative content and the more entertaining and emotional triggering content. And that's what helped us get the amazing results we got for that client. So just that small decision of having variety and going, okay, well, let's split the budget in half and test this different style of content led to that amazing result that wouldn't have happened. They wouldn't have learned that. Yeah.
We recently posted a case study to do with that campaign, and someone commented on one of my LinkedIn posts talking about B2B marketing and how lots of B2B businesses are don't like to do anything different, and they stick to the same, like, oh, we're going to create a white paper and a professional talking head video. And like the guy that commented on my post was kind of like little bit shitting on B2B businesses, like, oh, they never want to try anything new. And I was sort of like taking the empathetic approach and trying to think like it probably is scary for B2B brands to completely try something new, because we've spoken about this before, like they're comfortable, they do the same thing every year and they don't want to put their job or their integrity at risk. They don't want to try something new. Yeah. But it's that saying that you said before, if you always
do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always
got.
That's it.
Yeah. So it is about trying to push boundaries, but it is about trying to do it in a way that reduces risk. Because, like, I guess so. If a B2B business was considering or a company was considering trying a new approach, how should they convince? Oh wait, we actually did this. We did an episode on this recently. We came up with that framework.
But also, I think it helps, like I'm saying, of testing a variety of content. I'm not necessarily saying, right, your next marketing campaign has to be all doing this crazy stuff you've never tested, you've never done. I'm saying maybe half of it is very similar to what you've done in the past, and half of the budget goes to something completely new. And who knows, that might not work as well. And then in reality, in the world of like social media marketing, you can just turn that off. You can not put any more spend into that, and you can go, okay, no, we've proved that our normal stuff actually works better. I would imagine that at least half the time, probably more than that, you're going to discover something that works better. And this isn't just a one-time thing of, oh, I've learnt that. Then the next time you invest in video and in marketing and social, you can then test that thing that's now performing at a higher level than the previous one and some new stuff. And you could improve that level again, get even higher performance, or you could stay where you are. It's not going to get worse. So because you always have the content and the style of content and the messaging that you know works, you can fall back on that. But I would say first step, have the variety. Yeah. You know, if you've got a budget to create 20 short form videos for this marketing campaign, 10 of them, let's go a completely different style or test completely different messaging that you're not used to.
So in summary, have the guts to try something new, and the worst that's going to happen is you're going to learn something.
Yeah. Exactly. You want to hope that you're wrong with what you think at the moment, because if you're wrong, it means when you test that new stuff, it's going to perform even better than you're used to.
Yeah, good point.
When it comes to selling in video, Dan, I feel like this is quite controversial, because in the past, sometimes we've said basically like, no, you need to basically not sell at all because otherwise people won't be bothered about it. At the same time, a lot of people are like, well, if you're not selling, you're not going to have a business.
Yeah.
But what do you think about selling in videos?
People need to sell more in their videos, and this sounds controversial coming from me.
Yeah, it does.
I think that people like brands get it wrong in both directions. So the one side, brands try and sell too much in their videos in an intrusive, salesy way that doesn't think of the end customer, what they care about. So the classic, like, we need to sell more products. So what do? We talk more about our products, about our services, the offers we've got on. We don't think of what kind of content the end customer actually wants to consume. So that's kind of too far on the sales front. The other side of things, people just create fun, entertaining content that doesn't do anything to help sell their product or service. So what I'm saying is you need to meet in the middle and produce content that your customers actually enjoy consuming and that ties in, that overcomes objections, that talks about the benefits and features of your product, that talks about things that are going to help you sell your product. And I always say this thing in our videos that you always take the piss out of me, Lloyd, that we deliver highly strategic, sales-focused messaging in an incredibly creative, engaging and entertaining way that is impossible to stop watching. We make your customers actually enjoy the process of consuming the content that convinces them to buy your products and services.
You do say that a lot.
That's like my little line in some of our case study videos.
And I try and make you not say incredibly.
I do say incredibly a lot
to improve the use of language in that statement.
Yes,
it is funny how that's so driven into you, that kind of value proposition that you can reel it off like that. It's funny.
I think that's the secret sauce to improving your marketing, not just your video content. Is one, thinking of who is the person you're trying to convince to do something. What do they actually give a shit about, and what types of content will they enjoy consuming? And how do you integrate that with your brand in a creative way? So you're not just creating a funny or entertaining or informative video about the topic they enjoy, but you're tying in your brand in a clever, strategic way to promote it within that content. So it's a win-win for you and the end customer.
Again, this is something like takes it to the next level for us and allows us to get amazing results for clients and for our own business, because there's a lot of people are at kind of the skill level or at the level in their business that they're working at that they can either create content that explains what they do and what they're selling to people, which most of the time people don't care about, even if you can just communicate that well, or they can create entertaining, funny videos, and they're going down that route, which is like a lot of businesses I see, they kind of start this path of getting a bit more creative and they get it and they're like, we're making these funny videos, they're getting a load of views, and they haven't quite got to the point yet of the next level that really maximizes the return you can get on your marketing, which is making it entertaining so that people watch it, but still actually communicating about your business, because there's no point just producing a sitcom and going, oh, that was a really good sketch or something, but no one knows what you do for your business. No one's going to do business with you, but they like that funny video they saw on the internet.
Exactly. And like to try and give some more examples to the anchors so that they can get the context of what we're going on about. So one of the examples I love of how we did this with a brand called Hub, which is like an insurance broker company. They are kind of innovating the kind of insurance landscape and the broker landscape. And we created an 8-part mockumentary that basically creatively took the piss out of all the bad stuff happening in the industry, so that we could then have Ed, who's one of the co-founders, as the hero in that piece of content, be like questioning through that mockumentary, like, surely you shouldn't be doing it like that. And it was called Ronald Rump, and it was sort of taking the piss out of Donald Trump's style office that was doing everything wrong, and then position him as the hero in a creative way. So it's fun to watch, and selling their product, that kind of thing.
That was good fun.
Yeah.
We've had some creative stuff that's done well as well, where we've sold within the video for our business. Yes,
one of our most successful piece of content recently was our GCSE drama video. For those that didn't see it, we if you follow someone called Jack Joseph on TikTok, he creates these short form vertical videos that tap into millennial and Gen Z culture. One of the things he takes the piss out of is like what it was like in a GCSE drama class. For anyone listening who's ever been in one, it's very relatable, and you can watch this video, really funny. We saw that and wanted to create our own version, but we wanted it to help sell our services. So we wrote a script that was basically an advert for Knowlton, but we delivered it in the style of a GCSE drama class. Posted it online. It went really, really well. And we didn't just get hundreds of comments of people saying nice stuff. We generated a lead that converted into a 50 grand contract from a company that literally referenced that video and said, that is the video that made me got in touch with you. I love it.
And that's because that was the perfect combination of creating something entertaining or that people actually want to watch and communicating what we do. I think you get to such a different end result for your business if you create video content with a starting point of, we want to sell this thing or we want to say this thing to our customer, and then go, okay, and how shall we make it creative or interesting? I think that's where you get a lot of the time it's like there's just kind of gimmicks. So like you'll be saying, buy my stuff and it does this really good thing, and then someone will come in and like fall over, and it's kind of like you're like desperately trying to cling on to attention by going, okay, we're selling this thing, it's boring, so let's try and throw some random stuff in. And we did this in the early days, Dan. I'd say in like 2017, this is what we were doing basically. It's like, God, this is boring. If Lloyd falls over in the background, maybe more people will watch. Just being completely honest, that is normally kind of one of the stepping stones to get to the point where you can get these really great results. But the key is start with, how can we create something that people are going to watch and enjoy? Then it's like, okay, we've got that done. And then it's, how can we creatively sell our services or communicate we want to within that? And it gets to a very different result than the other way around.
I remember when we shot a video in our local park when you were on a bike wearing a helmet, and this is so cringe when you think about it now, but I was delivering something to camera and you fell off a bike in the background. And
launching
it back, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I don't get it. Just doesn't make sense.
If Lloyd falls off a bike and he's wearing a helmet, that'll be
I was in this like tight kind of lycra stuff and lifting some weights as well.
I don't know.
But that is, we were trying to get it. We were learning and we were getting to the point where we could get creative. But the way we're doing things now takes it to the next level. But we had to do it like that to get where we are now. Yeah,
I think the way you can avoid that anchors of just doing weird stuff to try and keep people hooked that isn't actually relevant is look at the concept for your video content and ask yourself, like, why are we doing that at that point? What is that achieving? And if you go through that kind of second by second, you'll cut out the crap that's just there, like, oh, maybe that's just pointless being in there.
We even had we've had one reshoot in the entire business, so where we've actually reshot an entire project for a client, and that stemmed from, it was someone who doesn't work for us anymore, but they wrote a script, and looking back, it was one of those things where it was like, oh man, we were just chucking weird stuff in to try and make it entertaining, but it doesn't make sense. It's just it's like it looks to the viewer like, oh, they're desperately trying to cling on to our attention by just doing weird stuff, and it's obvious as a viewer. So I think that's really key to make sure you're creating good content first, and then work out how you're going to communicate what you need to. About
it actually needs to tie into what you're trying to communicate. What's next, Lloyd? What other things can anchors learn from our successful video content?
So, bear with me on this one. I think this could be hugely valuable.
It's going to be boring.
Not boring. I think it's going to be really, really valuable, but there's also a bit of explanation involved.
Okay, go on. I'm interested.
Okay, so this is about doing the maths that allows you to judge success.
Ooh.
So, obviously, we're talking about video and our secrets behind the video success that we have with our clients and stuff like that. A big part of this is actually being able to judge success and what's working, what's not working, and be able to adapt in the short periods of time. So like day to day in a campaign you've already shot, but also month to month, year to year, in how you improve things with your videos. And the first step, if you're not doing it already, is actually capturing data on your sales and conversion rate, average order value, this sort of thing. So if you're in a business and you have no idea about that data, that's the first thing to do, because that's going to help you on this journey. If you do have some of that data, then you can start getting to the point that one of our clients was really good with. So a global personal grooming brand that we've worked with, they had this nailed down, and they had this big complex spreadsheet, and they basically knew exactly the amount that they needed to get return on ad spend for a project to be worthwhile for them. So they could say, this isn't it, but they could be like, okay, we need a 2.8 ROAS return on ad spend for this to be a positive thing for our business. And there's also a cost per acquisition, so a cost for getting a new customer. They could say, okay, if we spend, this isn't it again, but £18.50 on getting a new customer, we know that that is worthwhile for our business. If we spend more than that, we're actually losing money in the end. And if we spend less than that, we're going to make a huge profit on the lifetime value of that customer. So that is an amazing thing to know, and really allows you to make really good judgments on how you do your marketing in the future.
I guess for anchors, I'm just trying to think practicality wise, like anchors listening who are thinking, yeah, I want to figure out that kind of math to see what's worth it. I guess what can they be doing, or what should they look at to understand like, oh, this is what we should be investing. I'm just thinking like how we can make this.
So in the early days of campaign, or if you're just getting into video marketing or you're trying something new, at the start, it's unlikely you're going to just be getting loads of sales straight away. So you want to be able to judge what's working and what isn't early, to judge how much more you want to invest in it, if you want to change how you're spending and that kind of thing. So what we want to do is get to a point where you can work out how much you're spending to reach new people, how much you're spending per video view you're getting, how much you're spending per link click, and obviously eventually how much you're spending per purchase. So what you can do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God. I mean, you've probably got loads of workings out here.
You might need to make notes here, anchors. So I'm going to use some examples as numbers. So if your business, the lifetime value of a customer is £4,500 over an average of 4 years.
What's the lifetime value of a customer?
Four and a half.
No, I'm just thinking if people don't get it.
On average, how much a customer will spend with you in their lifetime, how long they're going to be a customer of yours.
If they spend £1,000 a year and they usually stick around for 3 years, the lifetime value would be £3,000.
Yes. And from that, you're going to know your average profit margin. So you could be like, the lifetime profit per customer is, say, £900.
Yep.
Okay. So we know that's what we make from a new customer on average if we manage to get them as a business. Mm-hmm. So that's great to know. That, in theory, now you know if we spend less than £900 and to acquire a new customer, it's going to be positive for the business in the long term. If we spend more than that, then it's not going to be positive. We're going to be losing money over time. And say, as an example, we can spend £300 and receive a positive return on investment within a year. Because I know you have to be a pretty big corporation to be thinking lifetime value, it's positive. Like in 4 years, 10 years. So as a smaller business or starting out, okay, we know we can only spend £300 on, and we'll get a positive return on investment within a year. From that, you can say our conversion rate's 1%. So we need 100 link clicks to convert one customer. So this means we now know if we're getting £3 a link click or less, we're getting a positive return.
It's like working backwards.
Yeah, exactly. Before you've got any sales, you can already see if your campaign's in a positive position, if it's a positive step or negative for your business. And then from there, say 1% of the people we reach actually click on links. Then we know, bloody hell, this is a lot of numbers. Then we know we need to reach 100 people to get a link click. So if we have a £30 CPM, so that's £30 to reach 1,000 people, just for non-nerds in this area, we'll get a positive return on investment in a year. So then £30 CPM, everyone that isn't aware, that's something you can track in your social metrics. It's basically the cost of reaching people. So before anyone's even viewing videos, clicking links, buying things, you have a number. It's like, okay, we now know. Yeah. On average, if we can spend less than this for reaching people, this is a success for our business. Or, oh man, it's costing us £50 to reach that amount of people, and we know if things don't improve or we don't change, that we're going to be losing money.
I think a key takeaway from this, Lloyd, that I'm just getting for anchors listening, because that was a lot of numbers. I think the key takeaway here is to start by understanding what the average lifetime value of your customer is. And then work backwards from there. I think lots of people listening to this may not actually have properly looked at what the average lifetime value of their customer is. How much are the average customer spending with you per year, and on average, how long are they sticking around? Just one action from this podcast, figure that out.
Yeah.
Because then you can work backwards and understand, right, and the profit from that as well, the lifetime profit. So on average, getting a new customer, you're making that much profit over their lifetime. Then you can do what you've said, figure out all the things you do on all the marketing channels to get that customer. You don't want to be spending more than the profit you're going to making over their lifetime to make that worthwhile. That's the kind of the simplified version, right?
A lot of numbers and detail there, but like Dan said, the starting point is just understanding, okay, how much on average are people spending? Then you can go, okay, how much does that equate profit wise? Okay, so how much can we pay for a link click? How much can we pay for a video view? And then it makes it really easy for you to make these judgments in your marketing, and it's like a superpower having this data. It's
like if you understand all that data, and then your marketing team or you are considering like, oh, we should do this new campaign that's going to cost this much and we're predicting we're going to acquire this many customers. You can very simply be like, is that worth it or not, based on those forecasts?
I would make a note as well. Don't fudge your numbers to try and make it sound good, because we've had a couple of clients in the past that have said like, oh yeah, we get 50% conversion rate. If you get us a lead, we'll convert 50% of them. And we're kind of thinking, okay, that seems high for this kind of industry and that business. And so we've worked everything out and costs and things. And then turns out the conversion rate's actually around 20%. And then it's like, well, hang on, now the number's completely different. So make sure you're getting honest and numbers, and it comes from data rather than someone just I reckon it's about this much, because that can trip you up. Dan, that's been a lot of numbers and data.
That's been a lot of numbers and data.
So can we get back to creative stuff and video stuff?
Okay, back to the interesting stuff. So my final one, this is really important, is to never spend more than a few seconds on a single shot within your videos. And this sounds mental, but you almost want to confuse the viewer by changing things so frequently that they're like, like watching a screen like, oh my God, what's going on? Like this sounds weird, and I've learned this from TikTok, because you see yourself watching some TikTok videos, and you watch to the end and you thought, I've just watched a video of a shark swimming around the sea for 3 minutes, but it's because things are changing so frequently. And I'll give you a really good tip for how we do this that everyone can implement with their videos. With your captions on your videos, sometimes, Lloyd, on normal videos, you can add captions and there's like 15 words on the screen at a time, and then it changes to the next 15 words. On like short form vertical platforms like TikTok, try and have 1 to 2 words showing at a time, because then that's one thing in your video that's constantly changing so frequently. You'll almost find yourself like just watching the video to see the words change.
It's like brain food, isn't it? It's just like gets you and you're like reading it. Yeah.
It does sound weird, but that's one thing that everyone should definitely try. So kind of big 1 or 2 words in the middle of the screen for the captions, but also changing the shots frequently. So doing things like punching in or out of the video regularly to change up the shot, or adding different types of shots like behind the scenes footage like we add in some of our clips and things when we're talking about campaigns, so that it's not just, you don't just want the shot to be stuck on one person talking in one position for a while, because people get bored. You need to mix it up.
With vertical video and short form video platforms, it's very different to what we used to with like long form YouTube, or when we're watching TV or anything like that. It is like, because they can just flick their thumb and be on to the next thing, it's like doing everything you can to possibly keep that attention. So like Dan said, punching in and out of shots and crash zooms and putting things on screen, text. I think if you're watching it at any point, if you have like a slight feeling of, I got slightly bored there, or I wasn't absolutely mesmerized by everything that's going on, it's likely that people are going to drop off. And I would put a caveat: some styles of content, sometimes content is so amazing that it doesn't need this, and it can still perform well. But normally this will improve content. And if you're putting resource into creating short form video content, this is going to be like 10% extra focus or resource of like, let's actually put focus on this to get it right and actually have people watching and get good numbers. So it's definitely worth it.
One thing I learned from Max Fosh, the YouTuber. He said he gets his family to watch his YouTube videos and tells them to let him know anytime they're slightly dropping off from the content, and he'll note that down and think, what can I do in that part of the video to change it up and keep things entertaining. So get other people to watch your content and let you know that.
Nice. Good tips, Dan.
So hopefully you've enjoyed this Anchors. There's been lots of little nugs there, things that are working for us with our short form vertical video content now. Obviously, we all want you to leave a review if possible.
Yeah.
That's the one thing we ask of you.
I would really like it. And if you do, I promise I won't talk about any numbers or maths in the next episode.
No, I thought that was interesting, but it did go on a bit. But, no, but yeah, please do leave a review. We'd really appreciate that. And we look forward to
See you in your ears next week.